Hey everybody, it is Brandon, also known as Super Fanboy Guy on YouTube, and I'm going to be recording this video as my last video of 2021. And so what I'm going to do in this video, we're going to talk about some of the highlights of this year on the channel, what are some of the things that kind of happened for this channel going through the year, and I'm also going to give a couple of channel updates after we talk about some of the videos that we've kind of did over the year. So the first thing I want to start with is the channel right now has currently 359 subscribers, so that is a big improvement from last year. I think we were down to like 200 or something last year, so that much subscribers in the year, about 159 more subscribers, so that is super cool. It's super exciting. So thank you everybody who has supported my channel this year, and going into 2022 I continue to bring more and interesting content to the channel, so thank you very much. Now we're gonna kind of talk over, I'm looking at the analytics on my YouTube channel, and I'm just gonna do the top 5 videos of the year. So we're gonna start with number 5 with 305 views. That is the Versus System deck profile for the Green Lantern deck, and I'm actually surprised it got that many views since I think I did it in February of this year. So that is pretty exciting that a lot of you guys seem to have liked that video a lot. I originally thought this video wasn't gonna get that many views because I thought people weren't really interested in the Green Lantern deck, but you know, clearly the views show that you guys enjoyed that, so I'm glad you guys did. Okay, so coming at number 4 is going to be the public service announcement video I did for the Versus System community that had 402 views, and I published that on May 18th, and that was the, if I remember correctly, that was the video where I was calling out Barakaya Adams about his Dark Side deck, and I challenged him, and we did a live stream on it, but the live stream got ruined because of technical difficulties, so we did a follow-up video to kind of talk about our match and what happened. But Barakaya, if you are watching this video right now, I'm still waiting for your rematch. So if you are brave enough to challenge Dr. Doom again, either on Octagon or if you want to do a paper match again, let's make it happen. But as of right now, I believe I'm still the reigning champion. Dr. Doom is better than Darkseid, so if you want your rematch, come and find me and we'll figure something out. But yeah, that's the number 4 video. So the number 3 video is and I'm actually surprised about this, with 407 views since its debut in October 9th of 2020. So this was a video I did last year. That was the Versus System CCG deck profile of the World's Finest version 1.0. And I was actually kind of surprised that that was on the top 5 list of the most viewed videos of this year, because now granted I know some of those views may have carried over from 2020, so that kind of plays a part in it, but you know, people still enjoyed that video apparently because it got a lot more views. And you know, when I first did that deck profile video, it's pretty much my buddy's World's Finest deck. I do have my own as well, and I actually have 2 versions of the World's Finest deck, and the one I did of mine was the all EA one. And I think I do have a World's Finest Modern deck that I might show sometime next year. I don't know. It depends if people are interested in it or not. But yeah, that's going to be the number 3 video of the top 5 videos of the year. So coming at number 2 is going to be the first episode of my Golden Guardians podcast. So according to YouTube, that has 453 views on it, and that was debuted in February 20th of 2021 this year, obviously. So yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that that got so many views in a short amount of time. Now, unfortunately, the other videos did not have that much. I think the Spider Stall episode of the podcast got like 271 videos, and that was published in March of this year. But 453 for the Mega City episode is pretty good. So I'm hoping people are enjoying that podcast right now, because there's going to be, I have an announcement about the podcast later in this video. So, yep, that is number 2. That is the number 2 video. And the number 1 video of the year, which is not going to be what people think. You probably think, oh, it must be some kind of Versus System video of some sort. It's actually not. It's going to be the Marvel Legends collection display from March 22nd, 2021. And that actually was published about 3 days later on March 25th of this year. And that, I am actually shocked that that one had 2,189 views. I don't think I've had that many views on a video within a year. I know I did like a Dragon Ball Panini gameplay video that's on my channel, and that got like that currently has 25,000 views. But that was published, I think, like 6, 7, 8 years ago, like a long time ago. So, but yeah, 2,189 views on my Versus System, not my Versus System, my Marvel Collections display. So that's pretty impressive. So that, that's kind of the big videos that I did over the year in a nutshell. So that is pretty exciting. So thank you everybody who supported the channel and, watched all these videos that I did. And I would like people to still give me more likes and comments. And, I would like more interaction from the community. But again, everybody who has subscribed to the channel to support me, I still greatly appreciate it. So with that being said, I'm going to now talk about some of the changes that I hope to do in 2022. So after looking at the video analytics, I realized that I'm going to probably be taking a step down towards the Versus System videos, because the Versus System videos, although they're getting decent views, they're not really getting the views that I'm really looking for. So one thing that I'm going to change next year, I'm going to kind of lean off towards the Versus System content a little bit, because I realize that the Versus System community, although you guys have been awesome, the Facebook community has been really good to me since I joined in 2014 or 2016. It's been awesome. However, unfortunately, it's just this very niche market, and I want to expand my channel to people beyond Versus System. So some things that you can be expecting from me next year is I'm going to start doing more Marvel Legends collections displays. I didn't really do a whole lot this year because Versus System just tied up my time and trying to get out the videos, so often. So I want to do more. As you can see, I'm wearing my Marvel Legends series shirt, and I want to do more openings and more showing off my collection, because my collection has actually gotten a lot bigger since I filmed that video in March. So expect more Marvel Legends content next year and less Versus System content. The other thing that I'm also going to do, and I still plan on doing more stop motion animation projects. I don't know if I'm going to put it on this channel or if I'm going to start a new channel, but I do like to take my Marvel Collections action figures and maybe make them dance or, do something like that. So that is definitely a project that I plan on doing next year. The reason why I kind of put it off this year is because I didn't want to do stop motion animation on my phone, because that's currently the only camera that I have. So sometime next year, I'm hoping to get like a decent video camera where I can start doing more stop motion animation projects. So that's kind of the big thing that's been, holding me back, is I really need to upgrade some of my camera equipment, and I want to get new lights, and I want to try to make it as professional as I can. Because I think, and I've written a couple of the episodes that I want to do for it already. Like one of the episodes I'm going to do it's pretty good. And I also plan to do this will be a preview of coming attractions, but I do plan on doing a Versus System deck profile with a Deadpool deck. And I want to do like a stop motion animation thing with my Deadpool figure, have him like talk about the deck. So you guys can definitely look forward to that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And here's another announcement that I'm gonna probably be doing. In regards to the Golden Guardians podcast, it's the Versus System podcast that I've been doing. So just to give everybody an update on that. So we've had a lot of schedule conflicts because he's a married man. He has 2 kids that, he's taking care of. And lately it's been hard trying to coordinate time to record with him because he's been busy. And I completely understand that, your family should come first in front of anything else. And I've actually went on the Facebook group and contacted people and made a post actually saying if anybody would want to guest star on the Exiles deck episode. And I had one gentleman that was interested, and I messaged him and I said, "What's your schedule like?" But he never messaged me back. And looking at the analytics on the podcast for the Golden Guardians, I have a feeling that I am probably going to be canceling the podcast just because nobody is really taking an interest to doing it with me, because it's something that I can't do by myself, that I really need another person to help me talk about it because I don't know a lot of the competitive decks in Versus System. So that's why I brought Jake on, and he knew a pretty good amount on the competitive scene. But I'm still going to try to do the Exiles deck episode and maybe an episode after that. So after those episodes are recorded, if they get recorded, because I don't know what's going to happen at this point, but after those 2 episodes get recorded, I'm probably going to discontinue that podcast just because the views are not really where I was hoping they would be. And I just feel like I don't want to put in all that work if it's not hitting the number of views that I would like it to hit. But, for everybody who's listened to the podcast, thank you for your support. But unfortunately, especially now, because I have a new job that I've been working at for about 4 months now, and that is obviously a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 job, and it's taking up all my time. So, and I really don't want to put an effort to a podcast if it's not getting the views or the listeners that I want to hit. Now, granted, we've only had this podcast for about a year, so maybe it takes a little bit longer for the word to spread about the podcast. But again, going back to that whole idea of the Versus System TCG card game has a very niche market, as it were. So I'm going to go ahead and probably discontinue that. And I want to start a new podcast, pending title. I'm going to be doing a new podcast that's going to be kind of more, I want it to be a little bit more broad and not so like market specific, if that makes sense, or specific to a certain subject. So the new podcast I'm going to do is I want to do a podcast about, where I got started in my comic book, sci-fi, fantasy, nerd culture life. And I think that would be a really interesting podcast to do. I would start by talking about how I got into the Ninja Turtles when I was a kid and talk about all the things that, how did I get into Marvel? How did I get into video games? How did I get into card games? And I think that would be really interesting for people, because maybe some people would be interested in knowing how I started, how my whole life like that started around. And the nice thing about it is it's a podcast that I can do just recording by myself. So I would have more flexibility on when I would record and do that instead of having to juggle around somebody else's schedule. And I might bring in a couple of guest speakers on the podcast if, they're interested. But so that's kind of the direction where I'm going to go with the podcast. So just wanted to tell that to everybody really quick. Well, I guess it wasn't really quick. It took me some time to kind of go over it. And the reason I'm changing the podcast, I'm hoping to get, more subscribers on YouTube, more listeners on Spotify and Anchor and Apple Podcasts. Because I think it would be really interesting to share some of my stories about how I started the whole nerd culture life. And people I would love to interview would be comic book artists, writers, if I can get that available. And I think the the content of the new podcast that I want to do would be a lot more interesting than just doing versus system. But who knows? I might still do like versus system related stuff in the new podcast. But I want to kind of broaden like I said, broaden the content of the podcast a little bit more. So there's another change that I'm going to be doing to my channel going into 2022. I have been actively creating content for almost 2 years on my channel, but I've actually had my channel for a little longer than that. But I started creating content for it on a regular basis about almost 2 years ago. And I made it a point to try to get one video out a week on my channel. But since I mentioned before that, I have a full-time job and sometimes it's harder for me to get, videos up once a week. So starting in 2022, you should be expecting less videos from me because I'm going to take some time away from creating YouTube content to kind of focus on some other things in my life. One of the things that I'm going to do starting next year is I'm going to start going to the gym and losing weight. I want to try to lose about 30 or 40 pounds. And I definitely want to take some of my time and energy to focus on that. So I'll still update the YouTube channel with a video maybe once a month or once every 2 months. But I'm not going to be able to upload videos as much as I did in the past couple of years. But I'm not getting rid of my channel or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of lean towards not making as much content for the channel. And I need to kind of focus on me a little bit more. So if you guys see me posting less videos starting in 2022, I just wanted to tell you that was the reason why. So don't I hope I can still keep the same amount of subscribers that I have and hopefully get more next year. But just wanted to throw that out. If you guys see me posting less content on my channel, I just wanted to share the reason why. So with all that being said, I just want to say, it's been a great 2021. We had some awesome things going on this year. One of the things that I do want to mention that probably one of the highlights of my YouTube channel this year was definitely when I did the live stream of the Versus System gameplay video with me and Barakaya fighting Darkseid against Dr. Doom. That was a lot of fun hyping that up, and I definitely got to do something more like that in the future. And that was probably the best time that I had this year. So thank you, Barakaya, for coordinating with me, and also thank you to Kevin Jackson and Aaron Mead who did my what's the word, like my preliminary match, I think is what I called, where they played. Kevin played his Team Superman deck, and then Aaron played his Lex Luthor deck on Octagon, and we streamed that. So that was a lot of fun too. So I would like to do more stuff like that because I think it was fun. And I got I think I had at one point on that live stream 30 people, which I never had that many people before on a live stream. And live stream is still kind of new to me, and I'm still kind of thinking of ways to do it better. And also another cool thing that we did is me and my buddy Alessandro did a live stream of some versus system gameplay videos. So we did, my Injustice game against his World's Finest, the Juggernaut Brotherhood deck against his World's Finest. So that stream was a lot of fun too. So I'm hoping to do more gameplay videos. But like I said, I'm going to focus on different content to kind of diversify my channel a little bit more. And, so that's all I really have to say. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and thank you everybody supporting the channel by subscribing, leaving a like, or commenting on my channel. So that'll be it. This will be the last video of the year, as I've said. And by the way, if you listen or watch any of my videos, I do tend to repeat myself a lot, and that's something that I'm trying to work better on. So I do apologize if I repeat myself a lot, but sometimes getting in front of the camera is kind of hard, especially when you're thinking of stuff off the top of your head to try to say. But anyway, so that's it. So thank you everybody again, and we'll see you next year.